Testing. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow kinsmen, our overseas friends, uncle, auntie, distinguished guests, Mr. Bay, thank you all for taking time out to join us at the launch of our book, Not for Sale, Singapore's Remaining Street Food Venues. Each of your presence makes this event so much more meaningful for us. So a big thank you to all in attendance on the bottom of our hearts. What we have just witnessed is what me and our team have been doing for the last 2.5 years. In fact, next month will be exactly 3 years, or about 900 days. We have met hundreds, spoken to even more hawkers in the last 2.5 years, 3 years. Their amazing stories and portraits are now captured in this book that some of you already have. This book is more than a baby to us, the three of us. My photographer was just joking to me. To make a baby takes a bit of hard work at night or morning and 10 months of waiting. But this book took way longer than that. 2.5 years. I hope each of you by coming will take away something meaningful on a personal level by the time you leave this beautiful venue. And I guess for Singaporeans, we know the historical value of this place. Some of the seats that you are occupying used to be seated by some very powerful men, great men of this nation, forefathers of this nation. And also because this is really a project about all of us. There is a bit of us in this book. If you are new to this project, you may not be aware, but in this 36 pages, thereabout, there's a bit of you and me inside. Even if we have never met or spoken, or your photo may not be even inside, because you're not a hawker, obviously. But for the very simple reason, every hawker center in this country is covered. As long as you grew up in Singapore, in one neighborhood, in one heartland, in one town, that hawker center in your neighborhood is covered. You will find your own familiar faces. You probably will recognize someone, a picture, a store, the food that is featured in the book. All 105 hawker centers and over 300 photos are all captured in the book. We think this is probably the most, if not one of the most ambitious documentary project ever. And we are, the three of us, we are probably the 3 Singaporeans, local, who have eaten in all 105 hawker centers all over Singapore. And that is not too good for our weight. Okay? Yesterday, to recap, while some of us were preparing for the event for the launch today, one of the staff in the building came up to me, and said, "Hey, are you the guy in charge?" I said, "Yes." "There's this guy's photo at the back. I recognize him." I said, "Really? Which one?" He showed me. He said, "I used to drink coffee from him for many, many years." That's exactly what I meant. You will find familiar faces in this book. Strangers, 2 perfect strangers. I don't even know him, he doesn't know me. But he walks up to me because of one familiar image, one familiar face he saw hanging on the gallery. I have no doubt images do have a voice. And this image brought 2 strangers together just like that. Or even if we have only lived here for some years, you are visitors. I'm sure people and food from the hawker centers would have touched your life too. Hawker centers are among the first places visitors or overseas friends would love to visit and experience. You don't need to be a Singaporean to enjoy our beautiful street food culture. I hope you too will continue and can continue to enjoy the good food and wonderful images found in this book as well. We started the book by looking at those hawkers, the first chapter titled No Regrets. We look at hawkers who are at threat of vanishing, with no one to take over their craft. Their craft is a craft that will vanish with a craftsman. And some of the food that we grew up with may be lost forever. And the last time I checked, the definition of forever means forever. In fact, a handful in chapter 1 are already gone by the time we finish this project, send the book for print. A handful are already no longer around. Amazing folks like the brothers from East Coast Lagoon Food Center. Who would have thought a street food vendor is also an accomplished harmonica player who performs regularly at the Esplanade with his brother? Who would have thought hawkers? He is a second generation hawker. His dad was a hawker. All he knew was to make food and sell food, yet considered good enough to be played in an orchestra. My fellow kinsmen, this is our stories. This is 100% Singaporean stories. Moreover, his kids are following in the footsteps of their dad. They are graduates with music degrees from the world's top music colleges. How in the world did a street hawker pick up music and be good enough to perform at the Esplanade? Really, we don't need to look far. Beautiful stories are right here at our doorsteps. But sadly, Mr. Ng passed away shortly after our interview. It took all of us by shock. Now we can only find consolation that at least we managed to speak to him and documented his story to inspire future generations of Singaporeans and hawkers as well. There are also chapters in the book about love, relationships, about couples working in their stores who gave their life to one craft and one trade. There are altogether about 5 chapters in the book. The other chapters, like guardian angels, are people, second generation hawkers, third generation hawkers who have chosen to take up their family trade and craft, to follow in the footsteps of their dad. Without them, I think some of our favorite food would have long been gone. The final chapter, we look at the superheroes of the trade, the real superheroes. People who are among the oldest hawkers, still working at their same store for decades, and yet adamant that food should be made the old-fashioned way, by hand, with their hands. Nothing less. At their age. Within that chapter, we have 10 female superheroes. Grandmothers, great-grandmothers themselves, who have faced extreme hardships in life, war, unexpected loss of a spouse, life tragedies, and they themselves are without education, being a woman without a job and income, but with 3, 4, 5, and even 8 children to raise single-handedly. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, we are also honored today because we have one such superhero in our midst. She doesn't come in her superhero suit. and she's probably the oldest attendee here today. She's none other than Madam Chua Che Cheng. At the beautiful, strong, fulfilling age of 92. This is your Singapore stories. Friends, they are living legacies. This is not fairy tale. I am not J.K. Rowling writing about witches and wizards. This is not a Korean drama either. These are real life stories about real people with real challenges in life. And to us and our team, they are the real legends. And we all have something to be grateful about, that they and their children are still around to serve us good food. This book is all about these folks who gave their entire lifetime without regrets. Many times when we ask them, Uncle, Auntie, do you have any regrets doing this? Their response will always be, no regrets. Simple answer, 2 words, very impactful. I can really go on talking about the wonderful people we have met in the past 3 years. But I'd rather leave you to savor and enjoy the book on your own. Even visit their store at your own time. I will end with a little passage from the book, and I quote, "We tell stories to understand and express who we are, aspire to what we want to be, and shape what others think about us. We tell stories to entertain, to mythologize, or just to share. Our own stories are being created every day. Through conversations with self, through interactions with others, social network, institutions, even companies. After we read a true story, we carry that story inside of us. It becomes part of us. We tell it, and then we become part of that story. When we visited a food center, met another hawker uncle, certain images, certain memories unconsciously come to our mind. We realized, our team realized, we can no longer consider those who prepare and serve us our food the same way again. These stories are now alive in us. Every image and photo in this book represents a store and a family, one captured in a moment of time. As stories are unfolding, and as change accelerated through our nation and lives inevitably change, each image is special and represents its own sets of struggles, challenges, and accomplishments. Every story is finite. They all have a beginning, middle, and end. What is an end but an inspiration for a new start? Most of all, this is our shared narrative. As Singaporeans, as food lovers, their stories, their life values captured through these images with their quotes from the interview that they gave us will become yours. With that in mind, we leave you to create your own happy ending and to identify and discover your own meaning in the pages that follow. Unquote. Once again, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to allow us to share with you these images and stories of our hawkers. Stories we hope they will last for generations to come. I hope if you become an owner of the book, please take time to enjoy the book. This is not a book you must finish by the end of August, by the end of 2013. This is not a project that you must do. Take time to go through, flick through the pages, examine the images, look at the details, the faces, the expression, the posture, with you, even years after the book may have, the pages may have torn or dog-eared, photos may have faded, but take the book out again to relieve those memories. This is the book we want you to keep. Let the photos age and mature with time, but this is a book you must take time to enjoy. I know there are aspiring photographers in this room. I hope you will also find inspiration through the black and whites and stories of our hawkers. And if there are young hawkers in our midst, I hope you will continue the legacies of those who have gone before us and make this the most beautiful Singapore story ever. Let this be a reminder to our children and our children's children. This is an amazing part of our lives, our culture, and like our memories. It's not for sale. Only the book is. I just have to say this in Mandarin, okay? Uncle, Auntie, 辛苦你们了，谢谢你们，真的，真的，谢谢你们。愿上帝深深的祝福你们。Blessings, love, and peace be upon each of you for coming. Thank you, and God bless.